The Mongolian savannas, a vast, windswept expanse where survival is dictated by strength, cunning, and resilience. Here, among warring tribes and unforgiving landscapes, a child was born in 1162, destined to change the course of history. His name was Temujin. Temujin's early life was one of hardship. His father, Yasuge, was a tribal leader who sought to unite the Mongol clans, but treachery struck when he was poisoned by a rival tribe. Left leaderless, Temujin's family was cast out, abandoned by their own people. His mother, Holin, refused to surrender to despair, raising her children in exile, teaching them the harsh realities of life on the steppe. It was in these formative years that Temujin learned the art of survival. He hunted for food, outmaneuvered enemies, and understood the value of loyalty. Betrayed by those who once swore allegiance to his father, he experienced firsthand the brutal nature of Mongol politics. But rather than breaking him, these hardships hardened his resolve. As he grew, Temujin forged alliances with powerful figures, among them Togrul of the Karat tribe, who became a crucial supporter. Yet, loyalty in the Mongol world was fragile. Rivals lurked at every turn, and betrayal was a constant threat. Still, Temujin displayed a unique ability to inspire devotion. He rewarded loyalty and punished treachery with ruthless efficiency. One by one, he outmaneuvered his enemies, defeating powerful warlords like Jamukha, his former blood brother turned nemesis. Through military brilliance, political strategy, and an iron will, Temujin accomplished what no other leader had, uniting the Mongol tribes under a single banner. In 1206, at a grand assembly known as the Kurultai, he was given the title Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler. It was the birth of an empire, the beginning of a storm that would sweep across continents, forever changing the fate of the world. With the Mongol tribes united, Genghis Khan set his sights beyond the steppe. The world had yet to witness the full force of the Mongol war machine. What followed would be one of the most extraordinary military campaigns in history. The Mongol army was unlike any force the world had ever seen. It was not just an assembly of warriors, but a highly disciplined, meticulously organized, and ruthlessly efficient war machine. Genghis Khan transformed his once divided nomadic people into an unstoppable force through rigorous training, strict discipline, and an unmatched ability to adapt. At the heart of the Mongol military's success was its cavalry. Mongol warriors were expert horsemen, capable of riding for days without rest, covering vast distances at incredible speeds. Each soldier had multiple horses, allowing them to switch mounts and maintain their endurance. Their ability to attack, retreat, and regroup in swift, unpredictable maneuvers left enemies bewildered and helpless. But it was not just speed that made them formidable, it was their mastery of archery. Armed with the deadly Mongol composite bow, these warriors could fire arrows with precision, while galloping at full speed. Their arrows could pierce armor, striking down enemies before they could even react. A single Mongol warrior could fire multiple arrows in quick succession, making them a relentless force on the battlefield. Beyond their superior mobility and firepower, the Mongols were masters of psychological warfare and deception. Genghis Khan employed cunning tactics to outthink his opponents. Feigned retreats lured enemies into ambushes, spies infiltrated enemy ranks, and defectors were welcomed with open arms, providing invaluable intelligence. The Mongols studied their enemies, adapting their strategies and even incorporating foreign technology, such as siege weapons, to conquer well-fortified cities. Their adaptability was a key to their success. The Mongols did not merely fight. They conquered, assimilated, and learned from those they vanquished. Engineers from China built siege engines, Persian scholars advised on governance, and Islamic mathematicians helped refine their logistical operations. No enemy was too strong, no fortress was too impenetrable. City after city fell before the Mongol onslaught. The Khwarezmian Empire, once a powerful Persian dynasty, was annihilated when its ruler foolishly insulted Genghis Khan by executing his envoys. In response, the Mongols unleashed a fury unlike any seen before, erasing entire cities from existence. Those who surrendered were often spared. Those who resisted faced total annihilation. Through relentless conquest, Genghis Khan and his successors built an empire that spanned continents. They shattered the once mighty Jin dynasty in China, stormed through the Middle East, and reached the gates of Europe. The Mongols operated with precision, efficiency, and an insatiable hunger for expansion. Their empire grew beyond what any had thought possible, but as with all great forces, what rises must someday fall. At its height, the Mongol Empire was the largest contiguous land empire the world had ever seen. From the windswept plains of Mongolia to the heart of Europe, from the frozen forests of Siberia to the sun-scorched deserts of Persia, the Mongols ruled over a staggering expanse of land. Over 24 million square kilometers. Their dominance was absolute, their influence undeniable. But what did this vast empire look like under Mongol rule? By the mid-13th century, Genghis Khan's descendants had carved up the empire into four major khanates: the Yuan dynasty in China, the Chagatai Khanate in Central Asia, the Ilkhanate in Persia, and the Golden Horde in the West. Despite their divisions, they were bound by a common Mongol identity, ensuring a level of order and stability ever before seen across such a vast territory. One of the most remarkable aspects of Mongol rule was the Pax Mongolica, Mongolian peace. The empire ushered in an era of unprecedented stability, allowing trade, ideas, and cultures to flourish. The Silk Road, once plagued by bandits, became a highway of commerce, protected by Mongol patrols. Goods from China, silk, porcelain, gunpowder, flowed westward, while knowledge and inventions from the Islamic world and Europe spread eastward. But the Mongols were not merely warriors, they were pragmatic rulers. They embraced skilled administrators from the lands they conquered, allowing Persians, Chinese, and other local elites to govern under Mongol oversight. Religious tolerance was a cornerstone of their rule. Whether Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, or animist, all were allowed to worship freely under Mongol dominion. This policy fostered an exchange of ideas that shaped the course of history. Yet, Mongol rule was not without its brutal realities. Their dominance was secured through conquest, and any sign of rebellion was met with swift and merciless punishment. Cities that resisted were razed, their populations decimated as a warning to others. While trade flourished under their rule, it was built upon the ruins of empires they had crushed. By the late 13th century, Kublai Khan, the grandson of Genghis, had fully established Mongol rule in China, founding the Yuan dynasty. Unlike the nomadic conquerors before him, Kublai embraced Chinese customs and administration, attempting to integrate Mongol and Chinese governance. Yet, despite his efforts, the vast Mongol Empire was beginning to show the first signs of strain. The Mongols had built an empire unlike any the world had ever seen. But as history has often shown, even the mightiest empires are not immune to the forces of time. The cracks in Mongol rule had begun to form, and soon, the golden age of their dominance would start to fade. The decline of the Mongol Empire was neither swift nor simple. What had once been a unified force, striking fear into the hearts of kingdoms and empires alike, began to fracture. The very divisions that once kept the Mongol domains manageable now became fault lines of discord. Succession disputes tore the empire apart. Unlike Genghis Khan, whose authority was absolute, his descendants struggled to maintain control. The four great khanates that had once formed a unified empire now warred among themselves. The Golden Horde faced internal conflicts, the Ilkhanate in Persia crumbled due to economic decline and political instability, and the Chagatai Khanate was plagued by infighting. In the east, the Yuan dynasty faced increasing resistance from the Chinese people. The once mighty Mongols, who had ruled China with an iron grip, now found themselves losing ground. Corruption, heavy taxation, and failed military campaigns left the Yuan vulnerable. In 1368, the Ming dynasty rose from the ashes of Mongol rule, driving the last Mongol emperor, Togun Timur, back to the steppes. The once thriving Pax Mongolica began to unravel. As the Mongols lost their grip on power, trade routes became dangerous again. Without their protection, the great commercial networks that had connected east and west began to falter. The empire that had once bound the known world together was now unraveling. By the end of the 14th century, the Mongols had retreated to their homeland, reduced to a shadow of their former glory. The dream of world domination had ended, but their impact on history would never be erased. They had shaped civilizations, connected continents, and left behind a legacy that would outlive their empire. The Mongols changed the world in ways no other empire had before. They revolutionized warfare, pioneered international trade, and fostered cultural exchanges that shaped civilizations. The modern world still feels their influence, whether through the spread of technology and ideas along the Silk Road, or the administrative innovations they introduced. Default text. Today, Genghis Khan is revered as a national hero in Mongolia, a unifier who brought order from chaos. Yet, his name also carries the weight of destruction, a reminder of the empire built on conquest and fear. The Mongol legacy is complex, both a tale of progress and devastation. And so, the story of the Mongols endures, not just in the ruins of their cities or the scars of their conquests, but in the very fabric of our history. They were warriors, rulers, and innovators, an empire whose rise and fall reshaped the world forever. Thanks for tuning into the past. Don't forget to subscribe and join us next time for more stories that shaped our world. Until then.